Headline of the piece is you may need to lower your expectations for next-gen graphics. And essentially what that meant is it's not... I saw a lot of the disappointment yesterday after the Inside Xbox showcase, which I think is a lot of it is rightful disappointment. We just talked about that. But like some of it was these games don't look next-gen, right? It was these games aren't pretty enough to be next-gen. They're not huge enough. And I think that there's a little bit of a misconception, a little bit of a misexpectation right now where some people think that this is going to be a similar generational jump in graphical quality to previous ones, like the PS3 to the PS4. The PS4 to PS5 is going to be that same huge jump. And I think that's just not true. The thing that and our own Bo Moore, our executive tech editor, wrote this great piece about what the 12 teraflops of the Series X means last month. And basically, like, his point and the thing that he heard from a lot of devs was like, it's not just about graphics, it's also about simulations. It's things like hair, water, lighting are going to get a lot better looking. But those are changes that are like really, really subtle. And even things like going from 30 FPS to 120 FPS is going to make a huge difference if you have a TV that can run it. But like that doesn't show up in an E3 style trailer, right? Like all of these changes are not things that you're going to be noticing in a highly produced E3 trailer. They're things you're going to be noticing when you're playing it and you really like notice the subtle improvements that show up. And
and especially it's interesting that people are judging graphics on a video that was compressed for YouTube that they're watching on their phone. And you're like, you don't know what it looks like yet.
I do. Want to know why I know what it looks like? Want to know why I know what the PS5 and the Xbox One X no, it's not even called an Xbox One X. It's the Series X, whatever it's going to be called. I know what these games look like because Epic released a gameplay demo with gameplay, surprisingly enough, showcasing off the Unreal Engine 5, showcasing off the next generation of video game consoles. Now, to give credit to IGN, to give credit to the panel that was in that video, their video came out a week before Sony's, or technically Epic's video came out, showcasing off the girl in the ancient ruins and how she's flying around and stuff. Like, they didn't know, probably because they didn't see it, but I just thought that I would play that small little glimpse because I have seen like 3 articles already besides IGN, like from Forbes. I've heard people be like, you know what, the PS5 and the Xbox, whatever it's going to be called, those two consoles, they won't have great graphical improvements. And it's like, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand graphical improvements and graphical fidelity. It's not just resolution. It's not just like, oh my god, I wonder if this game can run at 8K or 4K, or it's not just that. It wasn't just that they had great graphical fidelity. The next generation consoles, they shouldn't just run at 30 frames. They should run at 60, maybe, probably, to be honest with you, they should get to like 100 frames per second. I just want to show you a couple of things that I saw in the PS5 hardware demo that Epic had. And it wasn't even a PS5 hardware demo, excuse me. It was Epic showing off their Unreal Engine 5 and some of the cool stuff that they showed that the PS5 could do. First and foremost, the lighting effects within the game and how they could show off the interesting shadows and how light plays with those shadows, I thought was really, really cool. I know that one of the examples that they used was when they were trying to show the metal glimmering when, you know, you were shining your light on the bugs, and they were saying like, look at how the metal is glimmering with the bugs. And it's like, it's not the best example, but probably the best example of them trying to show off how, you know, in low light situations, your light can glimmer and shimmer against metal. It should have been the statues. Like, I felt that the lighting with the statues was great. And also just the lighting in the gameplay demo and how, you know, in certain places, in certain areas, you know, the ruin starts to break down and you have sunlight coming in the holes within the ruin. Like, the ruins, it looked great. It looked fantastic. You want to know one of the most important things that I saw from the PS5 gameplay demo? It wasn't, you know, the lighting, it wasn't the sound effects, which some of the sound effects in the game were absolutely fantastic. when I saw her kind of scaling these walls and climbing these walls in the game, and, you know, the developer was going into detail about how they had a new physics engine with the game to make rocks fall, and how they changed up her animations so that way they would be a little bit more smoother, and how, you know, like, maybe not smoother is the best way to describe it, but a lot more natural, I guess, and how I'm like imagining now like what the next generation can become. I can imagine like, oh, Spider-Man can use some of the physics within this engine. Oh, now Uncharted can use similar things within this engine. And obviously they wouldn't use this engine specifically, Unreal Engine 5. Like, I think Sony has different engines for different games and stuff like that. But just the concepts here that they used within the game when it came to attention to detail were fantastic. And then you go back to the statue, right? In that central hall, you look at the statue, you look at the attention to detail with that statue, and then you realize that that statue isn't one statue. It's one in hundreds of different statues that can be used, that can be rendered within that engine. And then you realize, like, when they put it all together, you start to imagine, like, oh, okay, this is what the PS5 can do next generation. This is what the Xbox Series X can do next generation. Like, we can see what these consoles are going to be, and we understand, like, these are going to be the next generation, and they're probably going to have better frame rates, better resolution, all that stuff people talk about when it comes to next generation. But most importantly, like, the stuff that the consoles can do, not just, you know, when it comes to, again, resolution and frame rate, but when it comes to the ability for developers to create stuff, when it comes to the ability of the developers to innovate, like, has been greatly increased and greatly improved because of the hardware on these new consoles. And that's what next generation gaming is all about. Being able to push the limit of the industry once again.
Don't fail me now.
And it seems like these two new consoles, even though I know that the Xbox Series X hasn't had a great press conference or hasn't had really, I don't know what they're going to do, Xbox Series X, but Sony, and more specifically Epic, has done a great job at showcasing what these consoles can do. And I just can't wait for whatever Xbox is going to do. I can't wait, more specifically, for an official, like, Sony press event that they're going to show off the new console. They're going to unveil the new console. They're going to talk about the new console. I can't wait for whatever comes next with the next generation of consoles. This has been 24. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe for more. Until my next video, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.